everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing I'm not too sure what this video will be. I'm not sure if this is going to be a chill session video or if it's going to be something else completely different, because today I'm basically going to be working through the Vendreads and trying to build a deck out of it, of course, but since it's not an official deck profile, nor is it a test stand video, I can't really say what it is. And instead of like a chill session where I'm actually going through each of the cards deciding what to put in my deck, in this case I only have the Vendreads available right now, so it definitely does change up things quite a bit. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to take this particular video and how it's actually going to be approached. The whole idea here is we are meant to be trying to understand each of these cards and what they value or what their significance is once you actually make the final build. So with that being said, let's just begin right away. Of course, with that, I would like to remind you guys to drop a like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of video, if you are looking forward to seeing more videos just like this. But with that being said, let's begin. So right off the bat here, the Vendreads are definitely quite an interesting archetype. It is meant to be themed after Resident Evil, and I do like that theme. It's also a ritual deck, it's also a zombie deck, so that's a lot of an extra bonus to make this deck propel itself as one of my favorites out there. But with that being said, I would like to take a more in-depth look into each of these cards to basically get an idea of what I need to play in a deck. So we're going to start off right off the bat here with Vendread Executor. So this is one of the boss monsters, I guess, or one of the ritual monsters that we have, and this one would be the strongest one. So basically, while this ritual summon card is on the field, your opponent can't actually target any of your Vendread cards except with this, which kind of acts as a really nice protection, not from card effects, but at least from anything that is going to target, which is definitely fantastic. There are a lot of cards out there that do that anyway. However, if this ritual summon card would be destroyed by battle or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while it's in the monster zone, you can add one Vendread card from your deck to your hand, which is really nice, of course, because you basically get to search for whatever you want. Of course, it has to be by your opponent's card, which does kind of slow it down, but it's not the worst thing ever. It's still a fantastic beat stick and easy to go into here. We have 3 of these. Personally, if I was to build a deck, I was thinking maybe playing 2 at most would be nice, just for its beat stick capabilities. Next up, we have over here our Vendread Slayer. This was pretty much the first card that was released. It was also remaining as one of the main cards, because there is a particular ruling with pre-preparation of rites, which actually allow you to add the Vendread Slayer plus the ritual spell itself, and it only applies and works with the Slayer alone. With the other rituals, I don't believe it works. But with that being said, here you have the main card. Basically, this is to weaken your opponent's monsters by banishing off your own cards, and I kind of like that because you could banish off one zombie monster. It doesn't have to be a Vendread card. Meaning, if you're playing a Shiranui engine into this deck, you could definitely work things really amazingly here. So I definitely like this, and if this ritual summon card is sent to the grave, you add a ritual spell. So not as progressive as Executor, but still definitely a fantastic card. Next up, we have over here our Battle Lords. I've also seen people play 2 of these as well in the deck. Some people even play 3. I only have 2 copies right now, but I think 2 is definitely enough. Basically, it's a lockout card. You banish one Vendread card from your graveyard and declare one type either monster, spell, or trap, and for the rest of the turn, your opponent is basically locked out from it, which is definitely very fantastic. But for me, I'm playing 2 copies, or I only have the 2 to work with, so I'll try to make it work. I think it's going to be enough anyway, so that's what we're going to go with there. And finally, we have over here the Chimera. Probably the one card that people most likely wouldn't use. It's just weak, it doesn't do too much else, but Basically, when a card effect would actually destroy one of your cards on the field, you could just banish a zombie monster, negate the activation, and destroy it, though it doesn't do anything beyond that. However, if this card is tributed or banished for a ritual summon, all monsters your opponent controls does lose 500 attack and defense. Not the most amazing effect, but still definitely something you could consider at least to play one on. Now, with all of these Vendread monsters here, so here's the funny thing. When you're playing Vendreads and all of these regular monsters in the deck, the idea is they give specific effects if you use them while they're on the field as ritual fodder for your ritual summons. So basically, if you were to use these as fodder from the hand to ritual summon any of your monsters, they wouldn't be giving any kind of special effects to your ritual monsters. However, each of them requires you to have it on the field to actually gain all of these additional effects. And that's what makes it amazing. For example, if you use Revenants while it's on the field as fodder, as a quick effect once per turn, you could actually target a special summon monster your opponent controls and straight up just banish it. You know, so different ones here have their own examples, but you are never going to be playing more than one copy of each because of the fact that this is a zombie deck. You're going to be playing cards like Solitaire, like Uni-Zombie, like Mizuki, Gozuki, and if you're not playing those particular cards, you're just not playing any zombie deck correctly. Although you want to focus, well, some of you, such as myself, do prefer to play a pure build of most decks, and same thing might apply for Vendreads as well. However, aside from it being a pure deck, it is still by default a zombie deck, and when it comes to a zombie deck, you have to play the staples. Solitaire, Uni-Zombie, they're all just really crucial cards that has to be played in the deck. As a result, you don't have the space in the deck to be playing more than one copy of each of these. You're going to be playing only one copy strictly, and the reason why we're even playing at least one copy is for them to be banish fodder for some of your ritual monsters, which requires you to banish off some of them. So that's pretty much it, but aside from that, it is the most optimal way I've actually found to play this after actually reading up all of these particular cards here. However, next up we have obviously our ritual spell cards. Now, Evolution and Origin are the two cards here we have. You want to actually focus on the Origin the most, but the Evolution is definitely a nice card to fall back on as well. But it's really simple. They are basically just the ritual spell cards. It's pretty self-explanatory. So whatever ratios I play of them, it's really not much to really think about. However, as for these cards here, unfortunately they're not as amazing. With Vendread Knights, when you act, well, it is a field spell, which you would expect it to be good, but it's not that as amazing as I actually thought it was. Basically, you just get to discard one card and then add a Vendread monster from your deck to your hand. So yeah, it's not the most amazing there, but it does fuel the graveyard to a certain degree. But since this can easily be ashed, it's not really significant. And also, when your Vendread monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can then banish a Vendread monster from your grave and it can attack again. Not the most amazing, not a card I would consider playing as well. But I would like to also point out that out of the monsters, I didn't mention Vendread Core. I don't actually have that card. If I were to play it, I would play at least one copy in the deck, but the only reason I didn't show it here is because I didn't actually own that copy of a card. So if I make my deck profile, I'm most likely proxying it. But next up here we have Nightmare. Basically, once per turn you contribute one of your Vendread monsters from your hand or field and then target a monster you control and increase its level by the tributed amount. Doesn't really matter unless you're actually going into really specific plays. It's not a card I consider myself playing in the deck. As for Charge, at first this card in theory seems good, but I don't actually think it's going to be good once you actually think about the technical aspects. Once I ran a few simulation plays just off mental thoughts, it didn't work out as well. You send a zombie monster from your handle field to the graveyard, and then you special summon a Vendread from your deck. But aside from that, what other benefits are you going to get out of it? It's technically a -2. Well, it's -1, but it's not amazing either. I mean, it really just doesn't do much. So it's a good thing I only have one copy, because if I had more, I would have just got rid of them anyway. You know, like if I was to play this card in the deck, I would play at least one just to get the ball rolling. But aside from that, it doesn't serve too much else beyond just the most simple plays. Most likely in the first turn it would be nice, but it really doesn't do anything else other than to get more monsters on the board and just give you a -1. Despite the fact that yes, you are sending zombies to the graveyard, but it's not really worth it. Now as for traps, we are playing here, well, not actually playing, but we have Revolution. So you discard one card and target a Vendread and a ritual spell in your grave and special summon that monster. In defense, then add the spell. Pretty much allows you to just refuel yourself, including fodder to summon out a new one from your hand. It's nice, but it is also very specific. Plus it's a trap card, so it's going to be slow. I have thought that maybe Trap Trick might actually be a card to accelerate this, but I guess we'll have to find out. And then it also has a graveyard effect where you could banish this card and target 5 of your banished zombies and then shuffle them back into the deck and draw one. Though being that this format is quite fast, a card like this wouldn't work whatsoever. Next up we have here Daybreak. Also not the most amazing card. Again, your opponent has to control more cards than you for you to even meet the requirements to choose a ritual summon monster and destroy all cards on the field except that monster. So yeah, it's not particularly amazing there. And aside from that, we have here the Vendread Reunion. Reveal a Vendread monster from your hand and special summon any number of banished Vendread monsters with different names in face down defense, whose total levels equal exactly the level of the ritual summon monster. So again, not amazing. Luckily all of them are normal spells, including this final one, so they all can be accelerated via Trap Trick, but it's a matter of whether or not it's even worth it. So I will be testing things out. The final card we have here is Origin, Re-Origin that is. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level, tribute it, and if you do, special summon a token. And that token pretty much can be used as fodder. So that's essentially the whole basis of the deck. There is also the Link monster, Vendread Slayer. I do have at least one copy of that, and fortunately you only need one copy to actually make the deck work, so that will be great. But hopefully this will give you guys also an understanding of the deck as well, and at least see my thought process as to what I think of each of these cards and whether or not they're even worth it or not to play for some of them. As you can see here, the trap cards, the majority of them we're not even playing in the deck, just because I don't think that they're as optimal as I had wished they would be. But with that being said, I would like to hear what you guys actually have to say about that, because what I might have missed out, you guys might have a lot to say about. So with that being said, I do encourage you guys comment down below what you think about some of these specific cards. But with that being said, I will be doing some tests just off screen of course, and then I'll come up with a deck that would actually suffice. And given that we are starting to move on near October now, I mean it's the start of September, yes, we are still quite a long way away from October, but you know, zombies, it's kind of like a nice theme going on. So yeah, can't wait until October comes. But with that being said, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.